interesting. What got the thing? Wow, Facebook. Why? Why, Facebook? Why? Why are you so trash? Click on shit? None of the shit that I'm clicking on. Love it. I love it. Not so much, really. Kinda hate it, actually. What in the absolute fuck? Try this again. I never mentioned how much Facebook pisses me off. It does, just so you know. Just so you all know. Is the timer done? I don't even know anymore. I can't keep track. I can't. 33 seconds? Hey, let's just switch over to this guy. Enough with all that craziness. And look at that sweet, sweet chair sitting there. You know what that means? It means I'm about to go sit my fat butt down because I just had dinner. Hey, Bill. I kind of have to do this because being lazy has caused me problems. So I have to, this is kind of hilarious. I did not think about pushing my streaming machine over to where I can actually get to it. Now it's a little late because I got a bunch of crap in the road. But I see that Bill is on. I see I'm on. Kinda. So I'm going to come over here and sit down for the minutes while I discuss, whichever comes first. Discuss, I think, is what I'm looking for, though. In the meantime, I'm trying to see. Oh, hey, hi, man. This ain't right. Let me bounce over to here. So we're expecting quite a bit of rain. What I don't understand right now is if you can hear me or not, because it is not showing the correct doodad. Let's see. Advanced audio properties. I don't know why I have to keep changing this. It's freaking annoying. That's all I can say to that. Monitor and output. Active. Mono, active, active. I want it active. I don't know. You guys will have to let me know if you can hear me, because I can't tell. I mean, I see meters moving in OBS, but not the appropriate ones, which is weird. Audio is not much but there. Well, that's interesting as well. Let's see, filters. Make sure I don't have any stupid audio filters on. Turn all that off. It's as loud as it's supposed to be. See, when I monitor it, it's an OBS thing, because when I monitor this through my mixing board, it's super loud, like plenty loud. I don't understand. Let me see. Cancel that. Let me come up here. Propertize. Why is it? Let's try this. Okay. But now I think I might have screwed that up by now I'm pumping 2 in there. Let me delete all this crap. Get out of here. You get out of here. You get out of here. Bunch of stupid things turned on right now. Let me get rid of all this crap. Close that crap. And let me turn this off for a second. And you guys will have to let me know if that's any better. I don't know why this is doing what it's doing, but let me go into here. Go into this. I'm going to mute this because that seems like that should be better, but I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, do I have my microphone turned on? I guess I should check that. Because it could just be... No, it's on. So it could just be the other doodad, but I'm going to pump it up a little bit just to make sure that there's plenty of meat, because I know how much you guys love me and want to hear all the words I have to say. But I'm hearing... It feels like I'm hearing an echo, which is weird. I don't know. Yeah, see, everything in here in my cans sounds great, but frickin' OBS being OBS, not always the case. Not always the case. Hey, Jeff. Apollo 11 audio. I'm not sure what that means, Derek. But in the meantime, yeah, I don't know why OBS insists on being a pain in my ass, but here we are. So here we are. I swear, it seems like every time I open it, something new has changed. Well, take the goddamn deer wax out of your damn deer buds there, Jeff, and I won't be muffled. Honestly, I don't know what else to tell you guys. Whatever the problem is, it's with OBS, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it because everything looks normal. So why OBS has decided to be a piece of doo-doo? Me, but I don't know. I really don't know. But when I monitor it straight off the mixing board, everything sounds fine. So, doo-doo is doo-doo. Not much I can do about the doo-doo. I don't know. These are things that I intend to change soon because there's some aspects of OBS that just piss me off. Like I said, like I swear to God they must be owned by Facebook, because it seems like every time I open Facebook something's changed. The same with OBS. But yeah, all's well so far. I'll try to monitor on my phone because I can't get to the computer easily and be on camera at the same time. Maybe turn all of that off and just use your phone. Yeah, I would just use my phone, fuck $500 cameras, fuck $1,200 cameras. Why would we want to do anything like that? That's crazy. Turn everything off and you just use a shitty phone. While I hold it and try to forge at the same time. That sounds like a great idea. No, it doesn't. Like I said, it's OBS. It's nothing. I got to just figure out what OBS has decided to do this time. I swear to God, every time I open it, man, it's decided to do some new. It wants to do some new shit. I don't. Between it and Facebook, I'm gonna take a crowbar or something. I'll film that too. But yeah, the OBS thing, and also I've been thinking about, so one of the bigger reasons I've been using OBS is because of the, like little things you can do like you would see on Twitch and stuff, and to be honest, I get on Twitch and it annoys the living hell out of me, all the crap that goes on there, because I don't understand it really. It's just old man coming out. But back in the day, I used to never really care about any of that, and everything was just run straight off of a different device, and it was just much easier to deal with. I just press buttons and magical shit happens, and I love that. It's kind of like my induction forge. I press a button and magical shit happens, and I love that. Or the power hammer behind me. I turn it on and I just step on a little treadle and magical things happen. Hey, thanks, Roy. I can't take any of the credit on that grill. We did a great job as a team, but honestly, a lot of the accolades on that go to Kurt Fehrenbach and Paul Kennedy. But it was a team effort, but there was, Kurt and Paul did a lot of the heavy lifting. But yeah, that'll be cool. We're going to take it to SOFA with us. It'll be at the IBA conference, which I know you won't be at, but it will be at SOFA. We're going to bring it to SOFA and I think it's going in the gallery. I'm not 100% certain, but I know it will be at SOFA. And then I think, unless things have changed, maybe have, I think that's going to eventually come live here in this shop. Eventually. I have no idea what our next thing is. I'd like to do another grill though. Eventually, as far as cigars go, it's a Cuba Libre. So the thing with the grill is I'm hoping to do another one, not the same thing, something completely different, something that we designed ourselves. I think would be interesting. We did something similar once a couple of years ago, but this time I'd like to do something more in line. So for those that don't know, haven't seen the grill that Roy is talking about, it's a reproduction of a Cyril Kolnick piece. I think that came out of a bank up in Wisconsin or something like that. But I don't have the book to tell you exactly. I just know it's a Cyril Kolnick piece. And we did our best to replicate based off of a photograph that we blew up. And then after we had done it, and it's kind of funny, there's some things where it's like, yeah, I don't necessarily think he did the way we did it. I don't necessarily think it was done the same way, but we came close based off of a picture. Oh, nice. That'd be it's definitely, I will say one thing. When you've got, 8 different people working on stuff of different skill levels, let me tell you, that can be a challenge in and of itself. I mean, granted, doing it by yourself is a lot of work. I have a lot of respect for people that do those types of grills, man, by themselves. That's a lot of work. I don't think people understand how much work that is. I think we estimated upwards to 400 to 500 hours of work in that thing. But yeah, it was fun to, you know, it was like when you've got a bunch of different people doing pieces to it, and a bunch of different people with completely different approaches to things. So it made for some interesting moments. But that's part of the fun, is figuring out how to get through that. So Derek mentioned, yeah, I'm not forging yet. No, I am not. I'm going to be, don't worry. So one of these, Roy's on, Bill is on. So one of you guys, I'm sure hell, I bet you one of y'all know what the hell this thing is called. I have seen it before. Where you take a piece and bend this, do 90s and bend around like a stump or a wood post, and then interlock it together. So when they lock in, you can use a wedge to drive it in, and it'll pull it a little tighter. I don't know what the hell that thing is called, but I'm not necessarily doing that tonight. But I want to do that with this piece of material that I've already kind of marked off, and it's just kind of funny sliding up and down my leg. I have removed the mark, so I'll definitely need to. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. There was one back here too. I only need the 4, but I was going to split. Well, actually, I was going to curl this up to be able to accept a wedge, and then I will eventually split it and then do something similar on the other end. So I don't know what that would be called, and I'm still working through the logistics of how I want to do it. I've seen it before. Actually, I think Bill's done one on a stump at the state fair. So I bet you he's got pictures on his Facebook account that I could look up and steal ideas from, which is probably what I'll do. In this bar, I'm not 100% sold on, only because it's only like 1/4 inch thick, which for what I want it to do, I want it to hold we've got this little dinner bell thing or whatever. I don't know what you'd call it. The wife uses it as a dinner bell. Let me show you. I'll go get it. And there went my lighter. But I want that to go around the post, and then I want to have 2 hooks coming off of it to hold this in this orientation. So this is the bell. Right now, she just sits it on the front porch and then rings it, which is fine. It just seems less convenient. It seems like it'd be more convenient if I had a couple of hooks coming off of that post wrap thingy to hold this up away from the post a little bit as well. That's the other thing. And then hold it securely enough that, you know, when it gets, like today, for instance, we're supposed to be getting some storms. So, you know, so it can deal with the wind and all that goodness. Wedge joinery. Okay. Yeah, so something like that. That's what I was thinking about on that piece. Like I said, being 1/4 inch though, I think we'll be fine for no more than what that thing weighs. I mean, I don't know what it weighs. It feels like it weighs a little less than 3 pounds. Could I bend that piece over my knee? Yeah, but it would be a terrible bend, so I don't know why I would do that. Let me get my phone holder over here. So this way I can see the chat and all that goodness. It's my ding-a-ling. So anyways, let me get this chair out of the way. Funny story, we went to the Warriors Way over the weekend, so we were there Friday evening, all of Saturday and Sunday, a good portion of Sunday. And we packed up Friday morning, and we got there, couldn't find, this is like my normal everyday hammer, but couldn't find it. And Paul was like, oh, I walked around for like an hour while you were on your meeting. He's like, I didn't see it. So I was like, it's no big deal, I'll find it. I spent probably 2 hours today looking for that hammer. Turns out it was in the back seat of my truck. Because, you know, why wouldn't it be? Which is funny, this hammer is the one that usually lives in the back seat of my truck, because I like to always have one with me. So I typically don't do that with it. I don't know why. I don't know what drove me to do that with this. And it doesn't seem like a big deal, but trust me, for me it is. These hammers are very similar. It's very similar in weight. The faces are not too different. A little bigger, I think, faces on this one. Not by much, but a little bit. But I just noticed today I was using this, and there were things that I was just finding challenging. I don't want to say challenging. Different than what I'm used to when using the other one. And then I was getting frustrated, and I finally found it. So I don't need this. I'm going to put this up here. I'm going to turn this power hammer off. I'm currently not in need of it. Like I said, so over that weekend while we were at Warriors Way, Paul, Kennedy, and myself forged, I think 8 hammers, helping folks with hammers there. And I think it was all said and done by the end of the whole thing, I think we forged 8. There was a 5-pounder in there, several 3.5 pounders, a couple 2 or 2.5 pounders. So on average, most of them were going to be in the 3.5 range. It was fun, and I didn't think I was as wore out as I was until we got home. And I got home, and then it was Monday. I could barely lift my arms from swinging that sledgehammer all those days, nonstop. So it's been fun. It was fun for sure. I learned a bit. Let other people strike. I think I directed. I didn't direct an entire hammer, actually. I just helped punch one. So what we would do is how we typically do that is if you want to forge a hammer, what we'll do is we'll guide you through the directing process. You know, the big point there is on a hammer billet is to get a good straight eye. And if you don't start with a good eye on your hammer, you can fix it, but in a lot of cases, it's faster and easier to just start over. And so, you know, we emphasize that quite a bit. So in a lot of cases, what we would do is help folks by punching the billet first, and then Roy learned. The only thing Roy, I think, has ever learned from me is that I'm a smart ass. and I like to push buttons. But it was a great time for a great cause, Warriors Way. I'm not going to try to get into all of what they can do. It was but it was a great time. So Warriors Way, it really kind of goes. It's a nonprofit organization that cater to first responders and vets, and helping through tough times and things like that, and kind of giving them, an outlet to work through, and they do a lot of knife making and blacksmithing and stuff like that. So we went up there to help with that, and I think a good time was had by all. I'll tell you what, there was one guy we were working with, that dude was a trooper, because I watched a piece of scale come off a hammer, land on his arm, and start smoking on his bare skin, start smoking, and that dude didn't flinch. He just stood right there and kept doing the thing. I was like, hell yeah. But I tell you, it's always a good time. We've done it twice now, and we'll probably go back in November. And it's always been fun, and they've always treated us great. And from what I could tell, everybody always has a good time. And we do a similar thing out at Quad State, We're going to do a similar thing at the IBA conference in June. So if you have any interest in forging a hammer, come find us, and we'll do what we can. I will say we're getting away from just doing it for just anybody, simply because there's always one person that wants to kind of manipulate your time. So we're going to put a little bit of a price tag on some of it. Quad State might be a different story, but the IBA conference, we're actually setting up a tools making area. It'll be relatively inexpensive, but we're going to scale was smoking on his arm. It was AKA burning him. But if you're curious about that, feel free to get a piece hot. You put your arm right there as you're forging it and get some nice scale on there. And you need a good $50 size piece of scale, though. Not none of this bullshit coming off a 1/2-inch bar. No. We're talking a good chunk. When you come down on a piece of steel with a 14-pound sledge, and that kind of scale flying, then you really get to experience what that dude went through. And then I burned, let me grab one more thing. I can show off, kinda. It's sitting in that's cold. It's sitting in a bucket of sodium bisulfate to help eat the scale off. So we decided to forge this ridiculously large horse head. We even talked about making a ginormous bottle opener out of it, which would have been funny, but we decided not to. The problem we were running into is holding on to it. We were using a gas forge, so it was getting the whole bar hot, and then the bar used to be, almost 5 feet long. So it was, so the eye punch, the eye was courtesy Dan Borowski, because I forgot one. Well, I had one, it was just kind of duty. But yeah, we learned a lot working on this. So I want to do another one, lessons learned kind of a thing. And then I also want to do a ginormous seahorse head. Why? I don't know, because that kind of crap is funny to me. I don't know why. I can't explain it. So I don't know. Let me see. In terms of material, I wanted to cut this piece real quick and then use this. I guess it's 5/8 sucker rod. I just don't know if I can get it through this coil. Oh, there we go. Yeah, baby. So, get through that coil. We'll heat this sucker up and cut it off. Maybe. Oh, well. My phone has decided to lock. We can get to it. Fish scale, yeah, man, I like fish scale. Just hot. So I call this the knuckle on the end of the sucker rod. I don't know what the appropriate term for it is. I just call it the knuckle. These are great to hold on to. You can use them for various tools. A lot of times this end is about 1 inch, so you can reforge that down and use it as a Hardy tool. On 5/8 up to 3/4, 1 inch is a bit bigger than that. If you need a bit bigger, obviously the bigger you go in the size of sucker rod, that's going to change as well. So let's pull this off of here. Get that bad boy up there. Duty hit. There we go. That's better. Good. Got a good mark. I'm going to. There's no point in abusing your tools. Just get it hot. They call them hot cuts for a reason. I could switch to anvil cam right now. I'm not gonna, because I have to walk over there to do it. I need a Jess in the shop. My daughter has said no. But I'll switch to the anvil cam when I actually will be doing a little bit more forging, actual forging, and not running my mouth. Which means you guys may never see the anvil cam. Pretty good where we're at. You gotta be careful here because of this heat. Because there's so much weight on the end of this bar now, it can cause that bar to droop and then arc the coils. So I gotta just keep an eye on it. It's Roy's favorite noise. Roy, to be honest, I was gonna fire up the gas forge tonight because I knew how much you love the roar of a gas forge. It turns out I'm out of propane. So I need to go. I got a hammer-in coming up with a demonstrator who would like to use propane, so I need to get that resolved soon. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that. So like I said, I'm just trying to be careful inside the coil. I don't want this to droop over inside the coil when it gets hot. So I'm just going to cut it off now. It's got a good enough mark anyways. So there we go, it's already falling off. When they start to droop like that, by the way, that's usually a good indicator that you can just wring it off. There's no need to keep trying to plow through it like that. It'll come off. But I see a lot of people using hot cuts and then they just blow through the piece and they end up hitting their hammer on the hot cut, which if it's hardened, it can really gouge your hammer or flatten your hot cut. Ain't no bueno, then you just turned it into a fuller. But this is what I was talking about. This piece right here will come off. You lock this in a vise and put a pipe wrench on this, get it hot. You'll probably have to get it hot, but you pull this piece here off. It's like a threaded, it's a threaded piece, but it'll come off of this. But this piece in here will work pretty good as a tool. You'll want to grind this lip right here down a little bit before you try to forge it down, and you'll just forge a cold shut in there. And then it's already got a nice shoulder, right? I mean, I guess we could forge it down. I don't have any intentions of using this for anything right now. So let's turn Clifton on. Work with me, man. Work with me, man. So I will come in here and get that whole thing hot. We'll forge that down real quick. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, I could do this with my hand hammer, but I got a 250-pound power hammer behind me. So why? It'd be handy if I could hold on to it though. Not the greatest tongs for the job, but it worked enough. I think it tried to burn me. Did y'all see that? Did y'all see that? Anyways, like I was saying, so if you pull this, well, I might not be able to. I got a pipe wrench over there. I'm gonna use a pipe wrench on these. Pull these off. Usually got to add it, put a little heat to it. I don't know what I did was enough heat. We'll see. All right. Yeah, easier to do this in the vise, by the way. It's mounted. Gotta get it hot up in here. So but anyways, these make great little tools, for hardy tools. All of my tongs are in the job box right now. Well, not all of them, but a good portion of them are. But you pull this threaded part off. Just get it hot where it's threaded. Kind of a bit much for the induction forge right now. So the best way I found is to ease into these, but I need to find a better way of holding that. Well, that'll work. That'll work. Much bigger coil that would actually probably be a much better solution for what I'm trying to do, but I can make this work. And you can tell if you watch, you guys probably can't see it, but if you watch the amperage or whatever coming off of this thing, you can watch it drop as I put more larger material into it. When I say you can cheese it, that's what I mean is by I'll put that in the vise. I don't know if you guys, let me look. You guys can actually see the vise or not. Kinda not really. Kinda not really. But one of these days I'll get a camera person. It'll be awesome. You guys will see. come in the other way. But you pull these off, and they're pretty handy for use. Make sure it's not hot. As a hardy tool. That one's on there pretty good. Probably needs more heat, really, but they come off eventually. Like I said, you can pull them off. I think I've got one around here. Hey, Mr. Beepy, you stop all that nonsense. Stop all that nonsense. Also, I decided not to release my video on induction forging. Everyone proved my point. What, that beeping is pretty incessant? I think you should most definitely release that video on the induction forge so you can get as much hate as possible, because, well, we know it's coming. We know it's coming. Oh, hang on, I grab my cigar lighter. This is the real reason I bought an induction forge, just to use it. It's a really expensive cigar lighter. You know what I should do is, I should forge a hook on this thing so I can hang it over here. But for now, I'm going to set that there. Make sure this bar is not hot. So I wanted to forge a leaf-like object and not butcher it like I did last time. Oh, well, hopefully, we'll see. There's also a forge thing with the IBA where you forge at home. I think it's a spatula this year. Forge a spatula at home. So I'm still undecided. I actually have a spatula kit from Roy that I'll probably end up using, but I was thinking about forging leaf on the end of this and making one out of this. I have the foot switch to it. I just don't like using it, Bill, to be honest. I feel like I'm tethered if I have to use that damn thing. We got that nice and hot. I'm going to switch the anvil cam now that I'm actually going to be forging stuff. How's that? Is that better? I thought about, there's a recording tool that you can use. It's a filter, and you can have it keyed to a specific tone and frequency and then cancel it out. And I thought about putting that on here just for Roy. All right. today? Wednesday. I don't know, man. So I need to shoulder this down real quick, lock. I want this to be slightly bigger, but I was thinking about, I'll do a leaf end on this, do something else, and then take this piece and turn it into a, not tonight, but turn it into the spatula I want to work on. So I'm going to put a little bit. My forging starts and stops there, but I want a little bit more than that. Whew, that was not a good hit. That's a better hit. That neck down so far there. Today is Wednesday. Well, I'm sorry you dozed off, bro. You should try getting better rest at night. Hey, that reminds me, Roy, how is that blower holding up? Because I'm thinking about buying one for myself. Is it the 3-inch or the 2.5? So on this, I'm not necking down the backside as much as I normally would. Just a little bit. Okay, now on this, right there, I don't like that, so I'm going to fix that. You see that double chop? When I thought I had a bad hit, I'm pretty sure I did. So I'm going to try to fix that. Do I get whiplash from all the stock forging? Whiplash? What do you... I have no idea what you're talking about, man. So to fix that, I really need some heat. So I'm going to put it right in that shoulder. So I need to roll this back over here. Mucho better. Yeah, much better. I don't, stock forging, I don't know what that means. But whiplash, no. I have never had whiplash forging. want to take that too far right now because, like I said, this is going to become a spatula, or at least that's kind of my thoughts for it. Alright. There's a lot of scrolls. So I could take that down more, and I might, but I could do that later as well. I just don't know how far I want to take this right now, because I don't. Well, I could take it a little further. And the coil I'm running right now, I feel like, I think it's inch and a quarter coil. I feel like it is great for 5/8 and 3/4 inch stock. 1 inch is, I mean, it's a little tight, you know, but it'll do it. You know, you've had too much coffee and you're here wiggling about. It'll be exciting. Yes, I have made a spatula. Actually, if I recall, I made a spatula with Roy, too. We did a skillet class, and I think at one point we did spatulas in that class. And I've got some of Roy's plasma cut spatula blanks. I've got some of those. And I'll probably do that in the next couple of weeks, simply because I got to remember where I put it. Come on, phone. Stop doing that. So I'll take it down a little bit more. Oh, watch this. I'm using the horn, y'all. Kidding. All right. When I hear flapjacks, I think of pancakes. So, if that's what you're talking about, yeah. What are the ones made out of cornmeal? Are those Johnny cakes? I'm actually not going to stretch this out much more than it already currently sitting at, though. I'm going to even it up where it's at, but it looks like it's about 3/8 square where it meets the leaf end. then just, all I really want to do at this point is get across the anvil. Not imperative, but I can make it work. The leaf end will be pretty big though. That's what I was hoping for. Tell you what, it was a nice day overall, but whoo, is it humid. I came out, no Clifton there. The whole ram was covered in grease and it was just gray from all the humidity clinging to it. So, most sucker rod is essentially a 4140 or equivalent. So when this stuff starts getting cold, I don't recommend beating on it too long. It's a medium carbon material, so you can overdo it. And if it's not hot, why work yourself so hard? Q, Q, Q. What's a Q, Q, Q? How old are you? I am ancient. Can't you tell by the 50 Shades of Grey in my beard? So some lady said to me at the liquor store a couple weeks ago, I was like, wait, what? Hey. You calling me old lady? This anvil's got a fairly wide face for its size, so I'm not across this anvil's face. Now there's a reason you want to get across to support this end as you're working. If you don't support that, it's likely to fall off on you, especially if you're beating on it cold, which you should not be doing. Beard, I see an anvil. Well, then you've missed out the gloriousness of my beard. All right. Let's see. Yeah, see, we got, I don't know, half an inch to go. Now, but not quite. So it won't take much more. I'll go ahead and switch to the other camera for now, once I get my phone to behave. there's an app that I can use on my phone to switch cameras, but they wanted me to buy it. And I was like, well, after spending $300 on this thing, I'm not paying for that. That's dumb. You motherfuckers. Trying to leech more money out of me? Oh. While I'm thinking about it, I have found that I should be able to voice activate this bad boy. I mean, it's going to take some work, but sounds like it is a doable thing, which will be cool. Did you just hit your anvil? I don't know. I don't think I did, but not a big deal if you do. I mean, as long as your hammer's dressed properly. Surely wouldn't be the first time. Excuse me. Thanks, bro. Yeah, so long as your hammer's dressed properly, you shouldn't be dinging up your anvil, even if you do hit it. I mean, unless you come at it, you know, just full on hit it. But, I mean, I suppose people do strange things, so who am I to say one way or the other? I've got mild steel anvils that have, I mean, they're relatively good shape considering I have absolute beginners use it all the time. So, just really, the big key is keep your material hot. Not a big deal. So that needs to stretch out a little bit more. Get across the anvil here. Really, phone? I think my phone is configured to watch me or something, because it is not. It's shutting down way quicker than normal. That is across the anvil now. So we're golden. Hey, Kevin. So I'm gonna start flattening out this quote unquote leaf. Again, heat is your friend in this particular process. I could just smack it with a power hammer once. Not gonna. It's a quick way to make scrap, or make something really flat. So what I don't have at the ready is a fuller. Which is fine, but I'm going to want it here in a bit anyhow. So it's kicked off to one side a little bit, which is okay. Basically got a knife at this point. Yeah. I've essentially forged a knife. I wasn't paying attention when I went to flatten it. For some reason, I had it in my head forging it down on the diamond would make sense, which kind of turned this in the wrong, it forged it down in the wrong way. It'll still do the thing, so I'm not too worried about it. It'll just be a different kind of leaf. But if you're paying attention, other than it's 4140 essentially, I mean, this is essentially a knife. I mean, it's not there yet, but it would not take much to turn this into a knife. Right, there's that, and there's this. Yeah, I mean, there's even got a bevel in there and everything, so it would not take much. To do the same thing, I mean, I would use coil spraying if I wanted to do a knife like that. Do I have a crossbeam? I think I do. Oh, looky there, I've got one. That's a fancy dancy Zach Royer crossbeam. Come on, phone. Just keep on trucking. That's still plenty thick. It's funny, I did something the other day. I was working on a saddle for my tire hammer. So I needed 4 bends and I measured them off, marked my bar up, and totally second-guessed myself when I went to mark it on the power hammer, and boy did I ever mark it wrong. Kind of what I did with this leaf, where I kind of just wasn't paying attention, just kind of going through the motions, but that's easy, quote-unquote, easy enough to fix. But I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. I might. Come on, phone. You are not helping here, dude. if I'm not careful, I might run out of coil here. That storm is coming in. And then sometimes it's just fun to hit things with a big power hammer. So let's do it. There we go. I think that's not going to fit in there. Yeah. So when you run into that, here's what you do. Get out of here, that's just weird. Just round it up. And then I think, I don't know what camera I'm even on, because, you know, I'm too poor to afford a camera person. We're on camera 1, so let me swap back over to that. So, things you could do with this, well, I mean, you might want to make it a little more symmetrical than this currently is. There's plenty of meat there to make that happen. But you could put this in your chisel, you could put this in your vise and chisel in along the edge and add some marks that way to kind of give it that look. Another thing I'm thinking about doing is seeing if I can stretch this out a little thinner and then rolling it up. But this, I can already tell you, right here, this is not enough material to do what I originally kind of thought about doing. It would, but it's one of the things I hate when I see a leaf on the end of a fire tool. They're too close up, and they should be further down, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're constantly holding on to the leaf, or the damn leaf is poking you. I don't like that. So what I'll do is I'll round this up eventually, and then I will take more material down here to make this longer to do what I want to get it further down, and then wrap how I want to do it. And I was thinking about the wrap, and I didn't think about when I was pulling this out, but the way I want to do the wrap is almost like finger grooves, you know? So the way it wraps around the bar, they're like little finger grooves. I kind of like originally thought of, but it might not happen on this one. We'll see. But, you know, you can forge this down and can keep going. And then if you got a power hammer, one of the first tools, amongst the first tools you should make, is a fuller, a handled fuller, which would allow you. Do I have one here? I have a really small one. I wouldn't use it for this, but use bigger material than this. This is a really small one. But you make these in different directions, so you can swap. You can get under it. So then you can kind of come, if like this one, you can kind of come in and just pull it out, but make a bigger one than this. This is going to be really aggressive. I use this one mostly for marking fullers, or marking fullers, for putting fullers into something that I want to bend, because I like that look. It also makes bending a really heavy bar really a lot easier. So I got one over here. I'm gonna grab it. And they're really simple to make. It's just a piece of round bar essentially, and you just forge out the handle end of it. But here, this bar I fullered in using that particular fuller. So where I want these bends to be. This is what I was talking about earlier, where I screwed up. I reversed these two. This was actually supposed to be down here, not the other way around. I think I can still use this, but and then that will allow this to bend over a lot easier. I don't know if this will fit in here. Well, we can try it. So you can just bend it at that fuller mark. See how easy that just bent right over? Yeah. Now, like I said, I screwed that up a little bit, a lot, but I think I can still make it work. Like I said, these two are, this was supposed to have been up here, and then this one was supposed to be 3 inches. And I just totally second guessed myself when I did it. I had it all marked out in chalk before I did it. And as soon as I did those two, I knew what I was like, oh man, I can't believe I did that. But there's plenty of bar here to do that. So in theory, I should be able to do, there's my 2, there's the 3, and then just do the 2. So, but yeah, by putting that fuller mark, and the other thing for a saddle tool, by the way, that pooch, you probably can't really see it, but when you fold it in like that, it creates like a little pooch up right there. Almost acts as like little feet for that. So this would sit up here. And I'll show you what I'm talking about when I'm making. I have one Ed Brazil made for me. I think Ed made it. I'm pretty sure Ed made it. But it's for a much larger die than what my tire hammers have. So let me find it. But it's too big essentially. There are ways that I could make it work. But I'm like, well, I have the ability. Why not just make one myself? I could pull that one off, but I ain't gonna. So here's one that Paul made that I'm still working on. So this will drop over the die, and then you can tighten it up against the dies. And it's got this cutout here where the bolts live. And this one's not done because the far side doesn't quite seat properly. So I need to get this down a little bit more. But I needed to drill these out. But it got to a point where when it ripped through this wall, it wanted to just grab this thing and take me for a rodeo ride. So I got through them to a degree, but now that I've gotten most of the material out, I'm going to put this in my mill eventually and then come through and clean this up with a big end mill, and then it should fit in there just fine. But that allows you to drop tools on the power hammer, under the power hammer on flat dies. So like I've got a taper tool here, for instance. So this would drop in here. So this one drops in. If you need a taper die, boom, you get a taper die. I've got a couple of those. Paul and I have made. Paul made one. I made one out of a forklift tine not too long ago, actually, and they're very simple. But when I need a taper die, I don't have to do anything crazy. I can just drop this in, tighten that up, and then away I go. And then I've got spring tools that will drop into the hardy hole that's on that saddle. So I don't have to hold it as much. I can just drop it in and then tighten it up. And now I've got this spring die that I can use under the hammer. And yes, you can use these and just hold them, but sometimes that can be kind of challenging. This one is, I don't know what that is. That looks like a taper tool. So this is a spring taper tool. This would be great for making hand tools. The other one's not as much. That's for much bigger. I made that for making big hammer eye drifts. But this one looks like it would be perfect for making hand tools. So you can just, you get, 3/4 inch or whatever you're using, and forge into that. Here's another bigger fuller. So like I said, it's very simple. The handle on this one's pretty beefy, so you got to be careful when you make these too beefy, because you would rather your handles bend before you break, because they will zing you. So just things to be aware of, and when you're making tools like this. Usually try to take mine down to about 3/8. So like here's a tool. Like look how dainty that handle is. Which is fine, because if this thing tries to zing you, I mean, it'll still zap you a little bit, not too bad. But if it's really off, this is going to bend before you do, or you break. So, yeah, so I've got other handheld tools I could put, like this is a 10-inning die, it looks like, that I could technically just put it up here and hold it. Depending on the piece I'm working on now, that can become challenging trying to hold that by yourself. Now, if you've got somebody in the shop with you, that's great. But I don't always have somebody here to help out. When Paul's here, we tend to come up with the craziest of things to come do, because we can help each other. But certain things, you kind of figure out. But those tools, you can depending on your saddle, you can do a lot. And so a lot of people, want things like drawing dies, which are just basically kind of domed dies, essentially just big fullers, when you really think about it. Yeah, they're handy. I mean, if you were in a production shop, and you had to draw material down a lot, I guess I could see the use, so you're not having to swap saddle tools in and out all the time. But honestly, it's rare that all you ever do is just draw it out. You're typically going to draw it out and do something else with it. Oh, and the chat just logged me out. It's a stupid thing. come over here so I can see what enlightening things have been said since I stopped forging. The best viewers on Streamboo. Hey, how about FU? Hey, Ken. So yeah, I'm gonna sit down for a minute. So and I'll tell you a story of woe. I will not. I don't know why this thing logged me out. As I try to log back in, it's me. Log me in. Yeah, Ken, I got a vast majority of those tools when I bought this hammer from the dude I bought it from. But a lot of these tools were either Clifton's tools or tools that he made. Some of them you could kind of tell who made what. But the big thing really is, hey look, I done did lost my good trade. I don't know why. This is interesting. Like, anyways, the tale of woe. Oh, about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, I had this incredibly debilitating migraine. Like, I don't suffer migraines typically, and I don't know that I've ever had one before that, but like it wiped me out for almost 2 days straight, and then I had a lingering headache from that point forward. Like, it comes and goes a little bit, but ever since then I've noticed like kind of a little congestion, like maybe like an ear infection type thing, but not, and a little bit of sinus congestion, but not a lot. Somebody suggested it could be allergies. I don't know, possibly. I wouldn't rule it out, but whatever it may be, it has been kind of ongoing for about the past 2 weeks. And then the most noticeable thing outside of the headaches have really, for the most part, gone away for the last few days. I was to the point where I was taking like a lot of ibuprofen and Tylenol at the same time, kind of a thing, trying to combat it, and it seemed like a terrible idea. But the thing I've noticed the most is everything tastes the same. It's weird. Like, everything has the same kind of taste to it, and I've noticed I haven't really been smelling well. So I told myself I was going to give myself another week or two, maybe, knowing me, probably 2. But if things don't start kind of working themselves out, I'm definitely going to go and see a doctor and see what's going on, make sure something crazy hadn't happened to me. Pay attention to the severe weather coming. Oh yeah, no, that's why I'm inside, dude. Hey Rob, how's it going? Hey Greg, how's it going, man? Yeah, Roy, I will send it to you. Would you prefer Instagram or the Book of Faces? I will send it that way too. Oh no, my session timed out. Ugh, I hate Facebook now. It's so annoying. It's like every time I think I've got it figured out, something else happens. It's like, what the But yeah, no, we've definitely got a pretty hellacious storm coming our way. It looks like we've been anticipating its arrival for quite a bit. Actually, is one of the reasons why I started the stream early tonight, trying to, that way once it kicks, because once it really starts raining, I don't know if you'd be able to hear much other than that. So I kept thinking I was hearing an echo, and I figured out what it is. it's the text to speech thing is still enabled. So I was hearing that. So when people were typing in chat, I was hearing that. I mean, not well enough to know what was being said without looking at my phone, but it was just like to hear the lingering noise. But I'll send it now, Roy, on Instagram, because otherwise, in my old age, I will forget. But like in the chat, right, for instance, like it's not showing me everything on my phone for some reason. It's so odd. So this weekend, we're going to go pick up Paul. I say we, Paul, Corbin bought a power hammer. So we're going to go pick it up from Andrew Larson on Monday, I think. Yeah, Monday. So that'll be fun. He got a nice little a little giant from Andrew that he bought. So he's pretty stoked for that. So that'll be cool. I would like to add another power hammer to the shop, but I really think I need to think about that a little bit, because there's some other things I would like to have that I don't necessarily need another power hammer. I've got 3 plus a press, so as far as fun power tools go, I'm stacked. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. Rob, you don't need it. Rob, you don't need it. But a self-contained hammer, a buddy of mine, Jamie Geyer's got a nice Anyang 165, I think. That thing hits like a truck. I mean, it is beastly. I wouldn't mind having one of those in the shop. The problem for me is, and I was going to buy one before I bought this guy. The problem for me is powering it. I don't have native 3-phase in the shop. I have to run a phase converter. And the phase converter I have really is not up to snuff to run. Essentially, when you're talking about a self-contained hammer, you're talking a 3-phase one, you're essentially talking about a 3-phase air compressor at that point. And my rotary phase converter is just not really beefy enough for that kind of juice. And I could upgrade it, but that's going to be like $4,000, and that just takes things out of my budget. A new power hammer's out of my budget anyways. And Clifton here does almost everything I want it to do. In fact, this weekend, we're talking about forging some new dies for this bad boy. Or at least getting them close. And then we're gonna have to machine the dies as well at some point. So we might do some video of that process for sure. We're gonna do that on Kurt Fehrenbach's 600-pound steam hammer, and I've got 4140 blocks that are 16 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 2 1/4 inch thick, which will be enough. These dies are 4 by 8 by 3, I think. So they're 3 inches wide, 8 inches long, and 4 inches thick. Tall, if you want to say it that way. Now, a little giant in the same weight class, the bottom die is typically 13 inches long versus 8. But after doing a little bit of terrible Rob math, those blocks that I have will not yield enough material to pull that off. need something a little closer. So I'm going to stick with making the new dies the same size as these. Anyways, and these are in need of work, so is why we're going to redo them. My phone just buzzed, but I don't know why. Here, oh, it's Roy. Okay. But yeah, so the dies on this are going to get eventually replaced, and then we need to pull the toggle arms off of this and do some work on them eventually. But for the most part, Oak Clifton here will do all the things no problem. Sometimes going from a tire hammer to the 250, I get a stark reminder of how much power is behind this thing. Even a light hit with this, you know, what I would quote unquote light hit with this can get some work done. And I have to remind myself from time to time. Sometimes it means screwing a piece up as a reminder. But hey man, got to keep the scrap dude happy, right? I don't know, my stomach just said, hey dude, we're hungry, and there's no way that's possible, because my wife made this giant bowl walking taco, a giant bowl of walking taco, and I ate like half of it, and I should be stuffed, but I felt bad that I didn't eat the whole thing. One, it was a lot of food, but two, like I said, everything kind of tastes the same to me right now. Like, I ate a bunch of candy tonight just to test, and yeah, even the candy tasted the same as all the other stuff I've been eating. So yeah, and here in the next couple of weeks, man, if things aren't back to quote unquote normal, I'm definitely going to go and see a doctor, because I just don't like weird things like that where they want to run 1,500 tests on you and charge you $4,000 for each one. Not a fan. So if I could avoid that, that would be great. My beard is stuck into my microphone right now. I don't know how that happened. So sorry if you're hearing all that rustling. That's my beard stuck in my microphone. So let's forward some other things. Oh, so I started working on, I'm not going to do it tonight, but I did get a good start on a coal rake. In fact, if you haven't seen, Brian Brazil's got some new videos out where he's been doing some stuff like this. So I started a coal rake, and the reason I did this is because I made one at Warriors Way that was horrendous. It was terrible. I was ashamed of myself. So, this is gonna be my redemption piece that I want to work on this week. I'll probably could do that tomorrow at lunchtime or something. But yeah, I was totally ashamed of myself for what I did to that pseudo. I mean, it raked, I guess. It raked, but it was, whoo, buddy, was it a turd. So anytime you have steel up around these coils, always check them if you've been using this to make sure that they're not hot, because they can get hot if they're close enough to the coil. So this is a hammer I need to finish. That is going to, well, I'm not going to say. It's going to somebody, he does YouTube stuff for a while. He did. It's going to go to that person. That'll all get announced when we get when we get closer to when he is ready to accept things like that. But that's who that is for. And then I've got another one soaking in oil right now, because if it's not sitting in oil in my shop, it will rust. So I don't know. Let me switch. If I switch to angle cam, no, we don't want that. Dummy. We don't want that. If I switch to Anvil Cam, can you still see me? You can still see me as long as I'm sitting my fat butt down. Might not be in focus, but that's okay. You guys don't need that much focus to see me anyways. It's not the kind of thing you want to torment your children with. Let me grab a Gatorade that tastes like everything else. But yeah, I want to. It's kind of funny. I did not realize how exhausted I was from the weekend until I got home. And it was a nice day yesterday for the most part. And I came out here and I was just like, man, I am spent. So I don't know. The storm, I don't know what happened to it. Like by about the time I want to go in is when we'll get pounded. This is calling for rain at around 12 a.m. I mean, about an hour ago, it looked like the deluge was on its way, but nothing happened. Of course, this is par for the course, right? So I ran out to the side of the shop and set up a bunch of buckets that catch water so I can top off my quench tanks. So kind of anytime you do something like that, right? Like you go buy a new raincoat, obviously it doesn't rain for a month. So while I'm sitting here, I'm going to try to get my phone back on to the chat thingy so I can see what's going on, if anything at all, so I don't have to run back and forth to the stream setup, which I should have moved. Again, that was me being lazy. I didn't want to move it because there was a bunch of crap in the way, and I should have moved it over here. It would have been a lot easier for me to manage. But I did find out that with the ATEM Mini that I use is the HDMI or video switcher, which allows me to set up multiple cameras. I've only got 2 tonight, but it allows me to set up multiple cameras, up to 4 on that one. But I discovered that you can set up voice commands, not in the ATEM itself, but like if you're running a MacBook or a Mac, or I would assume that you could do it in Windows as well. That there are ways that you can configure voice commands, shortcuts. You just really, and I don't know why I didn't think about this before, because I used to work with a guy that was blind, and he had something similar where, it would read to him the windows and stuff. But he'd actually had set it up to where he could and it'd say, hey, open blah, and it would do that, and you can configure shortcuts like that, text shortcut or speech shortcuts. So I'm going to start playing with it and get to a point where hopefully I can just say, hey, switch to, or switch to cam 1, cam 2, cam 3, cam 4. That'd be so much easier. The only other thing that I still have to sort out with OBS essentially is the sound, monitoring the sound, because right now I would have to run headphone, some kind of speaker out off the computer into some headphones, which I could do. It's just not. I'm not set up for that right yet. So I think this coming weekend or so, I'm going to try to work on that a little bit. And I've got some new toys to add to this whole setup that I think will help a little bit. I'm looking to getting some stage rigging trusses, which will allow me to then also potentially easily, I could mount it in my rafters, but I don't want to. But with these stage trusses, it will allow me to rig lighting on them as well as cameras. So I can set up overhead cameras. And I'm seriously considering picking up a camera that you can track an individual, so I can so I can have a main cam that tracks where where I'm going, as long as I stay within the camera's purview, I suppose. But that one's a little bit off. But I got some new toys that I need to get set up. I got some new microphones as well that I want to kind of get set up. I did, after the last stream where all my audio died because the batteries all died, I did rig up on my streaming box so that I could just plug in my USB-C mics there, and then they're just charged and they're just stay in the box. So I don't run into that again, hopefully, except for the main room mic. That one runs off AA batteries. So I'm looking to actually replace it. I've got some microphones. I just don't have the corresponding cables for them right now. I do, they're just not long enough. But I'm hoping those will work out better. And then another cool gadget I got, this kind of goes into being able to mount the cameras up and out of the way. So one of the problems with the cameras in the shop, HDMI cables are pretty, fragile. So I kill HDMI cables out here all the time. So I picked up an HDMI extender, and what that allows you to do is you got a transmitter box and you got a receiver box. And what that allows you to do is run your HDMI into that, and then from there you can run an Ethernet cable, essentially Cat5 cable, out to the receiver, and then from the receiver into the device that you want to put the HDMI on. So now my HDMI cables only need to be, a couple of feet long tops, where I'm not killing a 50-foot long HDMI cable. The shorties are cheap and easy to replace. When you're talking about 50-footers, though, that's $45 every time you kill one. It's like, oh, where Ethernet easy, and I think I still have a spool of it around here somewhere. I can just make my own cables all day long. The other cool thing about that, I tried to convince her, I could technically run all of this into a computer in my house off of my network that way, and I try to convince my kiddo once to be the person behind the desk and operate everything. They could operate things, and I've got a new to me video switcher. It's not out here, that I need to get figured out. But yeah, I can set it up with PTZ cameras. If you're not familiar with what a PTZ camera is, it's a pan, tilt, zoom. So I can configure it, and it's got a little joystick doodad on it, so you can use that to move the camera around and tilt it and zoom in on people, switch to different cameras. So eventually I'd like to have that set up. And I got it stupid cheap in an auction, so even if I don't figure it out, I'm out, whatever, I forget what it was, but like I said, stupid cheap. I got it. I suspect nobody bid on it because they just didn't know what the hell it was. And I got a bunch of other things. But my favorite things are, I got more speakers, loudspeakers, for the shop. So I can start running more jams in the shop. I'm looking forward to that. I got some now, but more is always better, right? The wind just really kicked up. But so I've got some things coming to work on the stream. So when it comes to, it's not that I'm gonna stop streaming to Twitch, but I'm not gonna try to do all the fancy, things that you will typically find on Twitch. It's just gonna be straightforward, as best as I can make it. Like right now, the only reason I use OBS is to put the stream chats in there so other people can see it. And I don't know how well that works, because I'm looking at my phone and I don't see, it logs me out all the damn time, which I don't understand yet. And I normally do not do this with my phone. I normally use my tablet, but I forgot to bring it out. And like I said, my streaming station, quote unquote, I could have carted over here and would have made things a lot easier had I done that, but I did not. So let me switch over here to this chat thing, see if I'm missing stuff. If you're not smelling well, you should see a doctor. Well, I think I smell great. Is Brian and Ed going to be teaching at Goshen in the near future? I thought I heard that through the grapevine. Yes, Roy. So the plan is for them to set up a class or two. I think in June or May is what they're hoping to do. And if not in June or May, definitely probably around Quad State time too, because that would make the most sense if Brian was looking to make it to Quad State, then from a travel standpoint, that would make the most sense, I think. Simply Blacksmith, what's up, man? So again, I don't know why. I'm going to turn this camera around. It's the main cam. I'm going to swap it around, so at least you're not just staring at my shop. I mean, maybe you want to just stare at my shop. I don't know, but now you can stare at me. How about that? What am I caught on? Oh. I was caught on the power. So, quote unquote, behind the scenes view, I guess. So when I keep talking about my streaming station, that's this thing here in this cabinet. And the reason I have this is when I close it up, if I'm using the coal forge, it blows coal dust everywhere. So this helps protect it from other, like grinding dust and things like that. It just kind of helps really protect everything that's in here when I close it up. If I'm forging on the induction forge, I don't really need to close this up. But this allows me to close things up so I can I've got a monitor in here so I can see, things. Which is funny, this monitor earlier, I was hitting a button somewhere, and apparently it's got a speaker on it, so I need to figure out where that's at and turn that volume down. But this allows me to see, this is my audio mixer. It's just a little guy. I've actually got a bigger one coming for something else, for different purposes. But it's basically the same thing as this, just a little bit bigger. But this is all I need really for here, because I really only run 2 mics typically. I can run up to 3. So this receiver will pick up the 2 transmitters, so I can run the 2 wireless mics that I have here, and then like I say, this is the quote unquote room mic. I like the ambient shop noises, as long as they're not overpowering. So I like that. I like to have that in there. And then I've got my studio headphones in here, so I can plug it into the mixer, so at least I know coming off the mixer, everything sounds good. Now, what I don't currently have set up is coming off the computer, coming out of OBS, what things sound like, which apparently I need to work on. So that'll be the next step for this. And then down here, I've got a keyboard and a mouse, and then this is the video switcher, which I can just kind of reach in and switch the camera view. I don't have the other camera set up right now. And then I can change the OBS scene. And then this is picking up feedback. Awesome. Picking up feedback. I think it's coming off of this monitor that I just said. I need to figure out how to turn the volume down on it. There's buttons, but they don't seem to be doing anything. Watch, I'll turn this damn thing off now. So let me work on that. I don't know if that feedback's coming through on the stream or not. If it is, I do apologize. So I'm going to come in here and devices. I don't know. I said it, but I didn't click on it. So this thing. Audio on this thing. Open sound, volume mixer, Scepter, nothing. Turn off. So I don't know why it did that. Why are they linked? I don't know why they're linked. See, this could be part of my problem is this damn thing. I don't know. I can't even tell anymore. Stupid. It's so stupid. Choose your output device. So why it's going out of the monitor right now, when I try to choose this device, it will not let me change it. Input. That's correct. So I'm going to turn that master volume completely down and see what happens. Manage sound devices. Disable. How about that? Microphone. So I think we should still be good. But I've noticed on the Windows settings that the microphone appears to be relatively low, so that might account for some of that. I don't know. But I'm not. Microphone, sound control panel. Setting up a microphone. Fixing sound problems. Oh, these are all readmes. Thank you. Thank you for that useful tidbit of detail there, Windows. I love you. Yeah, the technical issues have been, you know, my favorite thing with the whole streaming deal is, I swear, it seems like no matter what, I always run into something. And I generally, when I first started doing some of these streams, I would come out here and set everything up first, like a couple of hours before. And I've kind of gotten away from that, and it has bit me in the butt every time since. And I think I'm going to have to get back into that. So yeah, it has definitely been a problem. It's definitely been a problem. So anyways, that's this. When I talk about the streaming setup, so these are the HDMI extenders that I was talking about. So you run your HDMI into this, and then you run your Cat 5 out of this, into this, and then into your other devices or whatever. So those will be, I'm looking forward to getting away from murdering HDMI cables on a weekly basis, which is what it seems like. I'd love to get some cameras that are SDI versus HDMI, but man, those are so expensive, it's ridiculous. And then I would have to upgrade my switcher too to SDI switcher versus HDMI, and again, expensive. So, but I would love to run SDI cables versus HDMI. They're just way more robust. And out here in the shop, you know, just things. It is easy to murder tools. So I'm going to flip this camera back around because I want to work on some more stuff real quick. I don't do anything real quick. Gotta get the anvil in the shot. So there we have that. So I was talking about earlier, you know, this tool. So now you can see what I was up to. But yeah, once you remove this part, and you know, you just gotta apply heat in here, and then once you separate this, these make nice little hardy tools. You know, and I'll show it back on the other camera real quick. Let me switch to that camera. So just pretend that this top part's not up here anymore. But you see, it's already basically the perfect size. You know, so they're pretty handy. So if you ever get some sucker rod, hang on to these. I don't know what they're actually called. I just call it the knuckle. hang on to these because they can make good tools. When you pull this off, there's a threaded nub on the end of this, but you can just forge that out or grind the threads off. I don't know if I have one handy to show you what they look like, but you can like here's a great example is you can make a good a rivet heading or a rivet heading tool out of these. In fact, I have a bottom swage that we forged in Louisiana. Not well, but we did forge it in Louisiana. What did I kind of hit it, but here I'll go grab it. But this was one of those pieces. It was much bigger. This started out as one of those. You can't see that, I don't think, but I'll come over here and I'll show it to you better. But this started out as one of those. And the reason the stem is so long, if you want to slot it on the end, and then you can drop it in and put a key in there to lock it into your anvil, and it won't jiggle and move around on you as much. But this started as one of those knuckles. It was a much bigger one. Brian forged a lot of this down, and then we did the swage end of it, which could still use some work, if I'm honest. But it will do the thing. It ain't pretty by any stretch, but it will do the thing. And in our defense, it's a terrible excuse. In our defense, we didn't 100% know what we were doing. But we should have just asked. So I don't think it was a much bigger piece than this. But just to give you an example of how much bigger some of them can get. I mean, this is off of a 1-inch piece. So if you've got a bigger Hardy, I don't know what that is, how big that is, but. Let's check it. It looks like that's 1.5 inch right there. And then the screw end on it that is probably closer to like that big. Oh, I'm sorry. That big. Yeah, and again, you really gotta apply some heat to these to get these off. I don't know. I'm gonna guess that they're using some kind of industrial thread lock on these. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, those are great pieces to keep around, and you can easily turn them into functional Hardy tools. With minimal work on the Hardy stem, because that's basically already, it's already there as long as you size it appropriately. But even that big one, if I wanted to use it here, it wouldn't take a lot of work on a power hammer. It wouldn't take a lot of work to forge it down to get it to fit in here appropriately, and then you've got a lot more material to work with. And like I said, it's like a 4140 equivalent. So, it's going to be a pretty decent tool. It's just kind of, you know what I need to do real quick? I talked about this earlier, and I didn't even do it. Butt shut. So let's do it. Maybe. I hit the anvil. Oh no! mentioned how much I dislike forging hooks? Well, now you know. The more you know. I just find them boring. Boring! So anytime I do an S hook, I always try to make it weird and different, just to keep my attention span from wandering too much. For me, this is when having a lighter hammer is pretty dang handy, because I tend to just like crush these things with these big old hammers. So I'll put that down. I see a little ball peen over here, which will probably be more than enough than what I need to do. Yeah. And honestly, an even smaller hammer, which I don't really have right now. I have one, I just don't have it on hand. It's out in my job box, in my toolbox from the trip, and I haven't emptied it yet. And I don't want to, I just hear thunders. Oh no! My dog's going to love that. She does not like storms. So I'm doing a slightly different hook here. The quote-unquote Haberman bend, if that's what you want to call it. Why? Like I said, I just like to change it up. just pulling that material out. And you can do that with a cross beam too. In fact, I will do that. For no other reason to show you that it can be done. You see that? Look at that, I'm using a cross beam. Go me! Okay, that's enough of that nonsense. I hit that a little hard. Hey, look at me getting to that tight corner there, Roy. Alright. Will it hang? It will hang. Ta-da! This is a dumb hook. Yeah, I could have made it more quote-unquote traditional, I suppose, but where's the fun in that? Ain't no fun in that. Shut that beepy off. Shut up, beeper. Hey, oi! Thought I told you stop. Alright, let me quench this off real quick. It's kind of wanting to rain, but it hasn't gotten serious yet. Quenching this off in my super duper quench tank. And all of the grody-ness. And I did all that just so I could hold it and get a good light on my smoke. You know, it's funny. I've been meaning to remake my little cigar lighter. I mean, it works, but there's nothing special about it. It's funny how many people think that's the coolest thing since sliced bread. You put that in the forge, you get it hot, and light your smoke. So anyways, what did I do with the leaf? Okay, I have just decided I'm going to redo this. Like, it has just occurred to me. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So if I can keep this in here while I do this, get my tools ready. Ooh, that's all. That's okay. We can fix it. Okay, so the rain is starting. Of course it is. Of course it is. Why wouldn't it be coming? Don't need to go any further than that. But I do need, or well, more specifically, I do want a pair of tongs to ring this off with. Now, I'm going to save this for something else, but not what I had intended originally. I'll just put that anywhere. Okay, I don't remember what camera I left that on. Let's switch over to number 2. Hey, it's on number 2. Hey. Just imagine if you had an induction forge, Roy, how quick those tapers would go. So when I said I wanted to do something else, the reason is I want to get an idea how much material for this spatula. I have a ridiculous amount of this stuff, so I'm not worried about using it up. Every time I go down to Louisiana, I always come back with a truckload. A trailer load. Oh, you know what? I'll do that later. Simply because the power hammer I wanted to use for that's not plugged in right now. So I'll do that. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm gonna cheat on this one. Once I neck down the leaf end. Can you guys hear that rain? I'll neck down the leaf end and then go from there. Excuse me. I'm going to switch to the main camera and hope, no, you won't see much of this at all, but beats a stick in the eye, I guess. But I want significant more amount of material than I had last time. But I'm not going to pull too much because I can do that later. But I'm going to pull more. One of the things it occurred to me while I was doing this that I'd love to show people on the power hammer, drawing material out and why you do certain things. We've talked about doing it, so what we're going to do is we're going to forge a couple of things and then cut them in half and help people understand what piping is when you're forging and why it happens. So we talked about doing a video about that, so I thought that'd be kind of cool. Alright, so I'm going to pull out a little bit more, not a whole lot more. So I'm just going to round this end up a little bit. Side, just kind of cleaning it up is all I'm doing right now. And that's all the more I really needed to do for right now. Let's see if I can flatten this and pay attention this time. But I'd like to clean up that shoulder area a little bit more first. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to sneak in here. better. I like it better. I like it more better. But I need a fuller. I'm over here trying to melt the cable on the camera, guys. Trying really hard. This is how I kill these cables. I do not have a fuller handy, oddly enough. I know where they're all at. That means I'd have to go out in the rain. No, thank you. So I'm going to go back to my original plan for this leaf. Which was to raise the center vein by hand. Hot though. I'll come over there. Well, it might be easier to see it on the animal camera. So let's try. So you see what I'm doing here. So, as far as the speaker with the beeps go, that alarm is the only reason I haven't killed the speaker, the beeps, because that's telling you that it's not getting any flow off of the water, the cooler. We just had a power surge. I wonder if the stream took a bite. So that's all I'm doing now. Is just raising that center line by hand. You can use a cross beam for this. I'm going to go ahead, because of the storm, I'm going to shut all this off for now. As you can see, I'm just raising a center ridge. They call that a median ridge or whatever. I don't know. But that will be my stem, the center vein, once I complete this. And then what I'll do is I'll bring this down more under the power hammer to whatever I want. It's a little easier to lock it into the dies, you know, blah, 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 the dies. Lock it in here and be able to work it down a little bit and then roll it through. So my goal here is to stretch this out a little bit more, and then I'm going to fuller in the details. And I've got a leaf like that around here somewhere, I think. No, but I have one that shows, let me check to make sure that the stream is actually still going before I waste my time. So here's a leaf I did a while back that's got that center vein that I'm talking about. I'm going to try to look at the camera as I show this, but there's not good lighting here. So I'll switch cameras because I'm going to shut this down here in a bit. So I'll just go ahead and switch the camera. So you can kind of see that there. Now I'm going to take this a step. I'm going to take this a step further. But what I'm going to do on the leaf end, do I have a leaf around here? I do. Let me go grab one. And these are kind of like my favorite style leaf to do, but I didn't want to do that on this one. So instead of the center fuller mark, I'm going to do the edges, and I'm going to leave that other one raised. I don't know, it just seemed like a fun idea to play with. But the forward leaf, I guess we could call it, that was my favorite to do. Yeah, I'm gonna, if we get a tornado, Paul, I'm hiding under Clifton. So, I am gonna go into the house because I know my dog's freaking out and my wife is probably losing it too. So I'm gonna go in and escort everybody into the basement. So everybody be safe out there. Thanks for sticking around, and then hopefully the next one